you love to play. Oh, you love to play. Don't your comments won't relay. Sign this on my page for you. Oh my God, he changed. Young life, I can't see back karma. I just need some brains so I could keep myself in order.
He got problems, she got problems, only I got 411 problems. Hey, hi, what's up, y'all? It's time for another story time, and yes, we are still on the carousel of bad bosses. We on part 4. Yes, part 4. So we left off. OG walked into the office and she was saying, hey, I have some news for you girls that you're probably not gonna like. Well, of course, the news is Mrs. is leaving. Hence, I already knew, and I had already made my decision that I was not going, because I thought, I'm getting ahead of myself. I made the decision that I wasn't going because me moving would affect my son, and my son was already having a hard time with the first move. And this move would have literally been 6 months after the first move, and I just couldn't bring myself to do that to him. I couldn't. So it was like, even though it would have been more money if I would have went, it would have also means I would have had more work to do. And at this point in time in my life, baby, I want to work smarter, not harder. I want to make more money, but I want to do less work. And I'm also coming into the realization that dealing with patients on a constant basis is not my calling anymore. I was cool with it when I first got into the medical field. I got into the medical field because my son was born with an imperforated anus. And I wanted to make sure whatever the doctors were saying to me that I could understand, that you wasn't spitting out jargon to me and it was like, I don't know what you talking about. I wanted to be on some sort of level to where I understand, besides just Googling and researching, that I understood what was happening with my son, what I needed to do, and if I could research and find things better to help him. My son had 5 surgeries. So he had the colostomy, the tubal connection, the anal opening, the tubal reconnection, and he had osteomyelitis in his foot. 5. He had 5 surgeries before the age of 4. So I wanted to make sure that I understood, which is why I got into the medical field. But even before, Tyler, like, I wanted to be a pediatrician, but I thought I wanted to be a pediatrician because I absolutely love babies. And I would babysit. I love babies. I love the way they smell. I love that babies' reactions. And if you really watch and take your time and watch a baby and watch a toddler, they're pure. Their love is pure. Their reactions is pure. They can sniff out a bad spirit quick, fast, in a hurry, if you just pay attention. If you just pay attention. Babies and animals, if you just pay attention. Anyway, so I had decided that I wasn't going. So news was new to them, old to me. But of course, I'm going to act shocked. Because she told me not to say nothing. She was disappointed that I did not accept her offer, but understood because she was moving because of her girls. Her girls needed to be close to their dad, so that's why she was moving back to the city that she was moving to, that she originally came from. Anyway, she moved to the city for a new start, but it was wreaking more havoc on her daughters than it was helping. So yeah, it made sense to, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so OG is coming in, and so she was like, hey, Dr. Mrs. is leaving. So that means we are probably not going to be bringing in the same amount of money that we usually come in. So that may mean we might have to let one of you girls go. Well, that doesn't make sense because we still have head doctor, assistant doctor, and the PA. Well, lo and behold, unbeknownst to us, the PA had decided that she was retiring as well, which was understandable because she had just lost her husband. She had been in the game for a while, and she didn't need to work anymore after her husband passed, because baby, he was loaded. So there really was no need for her to work anymore. She could literally enjoy life, which was understandable. So she didn't work every day anyway. So yeah, so with her leaving, with Dr. Mrs. leaving, it's like, okay, that's income that's being pulled away from the office. So either one of you girls, we're gonna have to let one of you girls go, or she's like, cut your schedule. Like, one of you gonna have to go to part-time. Well, that still didn't make sense because head doctor and assistant doctor was here before Dr. Mrs. So something not adding up. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so Nurse One was like, oh man, that's crazy. So I'm sitting there like, oh man, I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss her. And so OG, she was like, let your girls think about it, but you might want to, on the low, you might want to go ahead and look for another job. So when she walks away, Nurse One was like, did you know? And I was like, no, what? She was like, did you know Dr. Mrs. was leaving? I was like, girl, yeah. Yeah, I knew. She was like, why you didn't tell me? I said, she told me not to say nothing. And I was like, but you assist head doctor, so your job is safe. I said, it seems like you were directing that towards me. And I was like, which would kind of make sense because I don't like her. And your team head doctor, and head doctor is team you. So get rid of the person that's in between y'all happiness, I assume. I'm guessing. I don't know. But I was like, it seems like that little message was directed towards me. And I was like, but we gonna let it play out. And I'm gonna let it play out. So anyway, we that OG goes back into the office to tell Billy. To tell Billy the news. And also to tell Strategic. Yes. And also to tell Strategic. So the assistant doctor comes in, and the head doctor also comes up because they're, they have to put it on because it's like, oh my God, I don't know what we're going to do. So they come in with that. Like, they come in like, yeah, this is what's happening. Just work with us. We don't know what's going to happen with the practice. Like, we're going to have to, once she leaves and we adjust with, the money, then we'll see where we can go from there. So when it's time to pack up the Mrs. Patients and send out, the first thing she did, because it was actually around Christmas that she made this announcement, like right before Christmas, right before Thanksgiving actually. And so she was like, okay, so who's gonna send out like the postcards to let my patients know, let all my patients know, like, hey, I'm leaving. Oh, I gotta do that because I'm your assistant. I ain't even tripping. So she was like, well, in all actuality, you're not supposed to do that. The manager is. Oh, she was like, yeah, so hold on, let me go back here and let her know. So she walked back to Strategic. She was like, hey, this is what needs to be done. You need to pull my patients list, the address list, what's on file. If they haven't updated addresses, we need to send out these postcards to let them know that I'm leaving the practice and moving back to the other city. She wasn't happy about that. So when Dr. Mrs. leaves, of course, Around lunchtime, here you come. Hey, Angel. Hey. So, you need to pull the patients list. I said, I most certainly heard Dr. Mrs. tell you that you're the one who's supposed to do that. I said before she even walked back there to inform you that you're the one who's supposed to do that. She told us that you're the one who's supposed to do that. Oh yeah, but I have so much on my plate. So you and Nurse 1 are going to be the ones that I'm delegating to do that. So not only do we have to pull the addresses of all the patients, we have to put in these postcards that she made to inform her patients that, hey, I'm no longer going to be a part of this practice. I'm moving back to the city. We have to stuff them, mail them out. Also pack up all her charts to be mailed to the practice that she's going to. This was all supposed to be done by Strategic, which was now delegated to be done by us, and still do our day-to-day. There was no overtime. We still had to figure out day-to-day. So Dr. Mrs. had already stated, like, hey, we're going to cut back on, because she was leaving completely. She would be completely gone by January. So she was like, hey, we're going to cut back on the patients that I'm seeing, because once we start sending this out, they're going to start calling and asking questions. So here's, she was like, here's what I need for Strategic to know what to tell them. I said, oh no, she came up here and told us that we are doing it. She said, excuse me? I said, yeah, she came up here and told us that she was delegating us to pull the list, to send out your postcards, to pack up your charts. She said she was delegating us to do that because she has too much to do. Dr. Mrs. said, ooh, good riddance. She said, so how are you? I said, yeah, we still have to do our day-to-day too. She started mumbling something under her breath and she walks out. So, during this time when we're still doing our day-to-day, we are pissed. We are definitely pissed. We are livid because head doctor nor assistant doctor has said anything about what is going on, because we're pretty sure that you were informed that the manager, Strategic, is supposed to do this. And not only have you seen the simple fact that she put her responsibilities on us and we're still doing our day-to-day, you have said absolutely nothing. Well, while you sitting back chilling and not saying nothing and correcting her, Billing was plotting and walked in and was like, oh, I'm turning in my 2 weeks notice because I'm moving. Girl, what? Where you going? Where you going? She was like, I'm leaving the state. That last little stunt, I'm out of here. Look back at Nurse 1. Nurse 1 was like, boy, what? I was like, girl, you're not going nowhere. You can't go nowhere. Like, you can't leave us hanging in here with the daughter of Satan. You come on now. So she was like, okay, like, I'm telling y'all, like, I'm gonna give it a little more time, but I ain't feeling this no more. Like, what he did, he hurt my feelings, and I'm done. Like, I don't know. I was like, just hold on a little longer. Girl. I was like, it's probably gonna change up. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. So, Mrs., like, time passes. We went through Thanksgiving. We've gotten everything out, gotten the postcards out. So, of course, the phones are going crazy because all of her patients are calling, and they're calling back to back because they want to know, like, hey, what happens? Do we decide to go with one of the doctors here, or it's completely up to you? I'm always amazed how sometimes patients get, like, completely oblivious to, like, common sense stuff. Like, if she's leaving and you're not going to travel to her new office, you can choose a doctor here, or, choose another doctor in this same profession. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. We have Google. We have Siri. We have Alexa. We have all them other cousins and situations and stuff that you can say, hey, can you search? Yeah. Anyway, so we're getting to like the Christmas party in office. Dr. Mrs. She was like, I really appreciate you girls. I noticed how nobody helped you pull the patient list. Nobody helped you stuff the cards. Nobody helped you stuff my charts to get them mailed off. She was like, so to show my appreciation, this is in front of everybody, she had already given us her gift, because the doctors give out individual gifts to the staff as well. She had already given her gift, but she was like, to show my appreciation, and she did it in front of them, she gave me and Nurse One an extra envelope. It had extra money in it. And Strategic face turned completely red. Nah, what you mad for? Because you said you came to delegate that job for me and Nurse One. Mad. Okay, so remember I told y'all like the reps come in, and the only way they could talk to the doctors was through lunch. Well, it was a new imaging center that was moving to the area, and like they had reps going around to introduce themselves to the doctor. So this one rep came in, and of course, this was around lunchtime, and of course, I'm the only one sitting right there. Excuse me. And so he was like, hey, I'm introducing myself. This is our company. This is what we offer. Our prices are cheaper than the people we were using at the current moment, which was the hospital. Our prices are cheaper, so give us, start sending me some patients. So when he walked in, like, he was new, and like we started talking, I kind of gave him some kind of history and I was like, well, like, if you really, like, I was like, if it's cheaper, especially if they're paying out of pocket, I can start sending patients to you. And he was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, do you get some kind of credit? He was like, yeah, I do. And I was like, all right, so let's, exchange business cards. Let's chop it up. I can send you some patients, and you keep me some kickbacks. When basically like lunch, just different stuff. So when he would come to the building, after we built the rapport, I started sending patients over to him. When Nurse One came back from lunch, I let her know, gave her the rundown, and we're going to start sending patients over there. It's cheaper, especially when they're paying out of pocket. It was cheaper. It was like a flat rate. So they started, of course, getting patients. And once my doctor, assistant doctor, found out, he was because head doctor saw like the sheet for him to fill out, for him to send patients over there. So assistant doctor, he was like, Angel, you, and I was like, I'm already sending patients over there. I got you. He was like, you always 2 to 3 steps ahead of me. And I was like, yeah, I got you. He was like, you always make me look good. And I do, which I did. So Strategic was standing there like, and you heard that, face red. So lo and behold, the dude who came in to introduce the building, like, he had been around maybe like 4 or 5 months now. You've been around 4 or 5 months now, and we are real cool. So when he comes in, he doesn't bring things for the office. Sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't. But a lot of times that when he would come, he would bring stuff just for me. But he was like, you looked out for me and you made me look good, so you would bring like candy. Like, he was like, what's your favorite candy? What's your favorite food? Or he would bring fruit just for me. Well, lo and behold, this particular day, I wasn't at my desk. I think I was on lunch. And he came in and he brought my candy. He brought a bag of candy that I specifically asked for. So you, Strategic, was up front. So you took the bag of candy, opened it, and put it in the break room. So when I got back from lunch, I came in, sat at my desk, and Nurse One kind of gave me a look, and I was like, "Girl, what's up? What's tea? What's good? What's up?" She was like, the dude from the imaging center came by, and he brought your bag of candy, and I was like, "Oh, where is it?" She was like, "In the break room." I was like, why is it in the break room?" She said, "Oh, Strategic put it in there." She was like, "Mm-hmm," and she opened it too. So before I could get up, Billy had already came up. She was like, "Girl, she opened your candy." I tried to tell her, like, "Hey, he brought that candy for Angel," because when he came in, like, she said she had spoke to him, and so she said, when I noticed, like, she had a piece of candy and was eating it, she was like, "Did he bring Angel's bag of candy?" So she was like, "That's not Angel's candy. That's for the office." And so Billing was like, "No. When he brings things for the office, he literally said, like, hey, this is for the office." I was like, that bag of candy, because because Angel helped him out in the beginning, he usually brings things just for her. She was like, "That's Angel's bag of candy." She was like, "No, that's not how the office is ran. When reps bring in things, it's for the whole office." She said, "There's an understanding," because she said, because some patients will bring in things for different people, which was true. Nurse One had a patient that would bring in certain things just for her. I had patients that would bring in things just for me. Sometimes patients would bring in things just for me and Nurse One. Sometimes patients would bring in things for Billy. Nobody had ever brought you nothing. And you were that type of where you were envious and jealous because you wanted all the attention to be on you with your insecure. So she was like, Billy was like, "I tried to tell her, but she didn't want to listen." Okay, cool. So I go into the break room, I get my bag of candy, pull it off the table, put it on my desk. I didn't even say nothing to you, just put it on my desk. So for whatever reason, you came up front and you saw the bag of candy on my desk. So, "Angel, can I talk to you in my office?" "Sure." So go to your office, sit down. "What's up?" So, the bag of candy that I put into the break room for everybody, why is it on your desk? I said, "Clearly, I was told that the young man from imaging came by and he brought my bag of candy." I said, "So are you trying to tell me in my face that he did not leave this bag of candy just for me? He brought it for the office?" I said, "Because I can call him because we have that rapport." I just don't think that's fair that reps bring things for patients. I said, reps bring things for you just for one person. I said, well, patients and reps do that all the time. I said, they make it very clear when things are just for the office and when things are just for the doctor or just for this specific person. They make that very clear, and it's up to their discretion. The doctors have no problem with that. I said, so again, did he specifically say that this bag of candy was for the whole office or was it for me? Okay, well, I'll have a discussion with head doctor so that that it's for everybody. I said everything is not for everybody. It's not. We've already had this discussion. The doctors are aware of it. Maybe they just didn't inform you. Unsure. Again, I need to know if the young man said that, never mind, I'm not going to repeat myself. I'll just call him and ask for myself. "He brought the candy for you. It's fine. You can have it on your desk." I said, for going forward, if you don't mind, when stuff is just for me, please do not touch it. Please do not remove it off my desk, and please do not open it. Is there anything else? No. I leave. So the next morning, me and Nurse One are sitting in our area. There's no patients. We're on the phones. Phones is on my desk. Like, we're going through our phones. She walks through and says, "Good morning." Both of us still in our phones, not looking up, but says, "Good morning." You walk back to your office, put your stuff down, come back up front. Angel, can I see you in my office for a minute? Go back to your office. What's up? Is everything okay? What are you talking about? When I walked in and said good morning, you didn't lift up your head to address me and say good morning. I said, neither did nurse one. I said, but did I say good morning? Yes, but you didn't lift up. I said, listen. I'm too old for this. Too old. I said, I maybe look young, but I'm too old. So I'm this age. Oh, yes. Which means I'm older than you. And I said, and I'm not even trying to pull the age card. And I said, but I don't do the back and forth games because I'm too old for that. So if there's an issue, let's address that now. Because nurse one had her head down, I had my head down. We both said good morning, but it seems there's an issue. What is it? Oh no, there's no issue. I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. Everything's fine. Okay. So, day goes on. Me and nurse one are talking, and nurse one is talking about her daughter. So we're like, I think at this time, was she talking about? No, she was saying something like she was telling a funny story. Her daughter was very funny, and she would do certain things that we would sit and discuss because, of course, we're both mothers. My kid is way older, but she would, we would have discussion because she'd be like, did your kid ever do this? Did this ever happen? So we're having a discussion about her daughter. So here you come and you are over in the files over there supposed to be minding your business. So we're having a conversation because at this time we don't have any patients. The phone's not ringing. We're, there's nothing for us to do right now. Excuse me. There's nothing for us to do right now. So we're sitting there having a conversation. She's telling me like a situation that went on with her daughter, and we're laughing and we're talking. And all of a sudden, here you come saying, oh my God, my dog does the same thing. So I look at nurse one because it's not my story. So I look at nurse one to see what's her response. And she says, your dog? She said, yeah, my dog does the same thing. Like, it's the same reaction. Like, she does the same exact thing. And then she goes into this spiel to talk about her dog, comparing your dog to nurse one's child. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people have fur babies and, like, dogs. I absolutely love dogs. I think dogs are absolutely amazing. Sometimes I think dogs are better than humans in some situations. But what we're not going to do is compare a dog to a human. We're not. And especially in a conversation that you wasn't even invited to. A-B, see your way out. So nurse one was like sitting there saying, oh, okay. And so then there's this awkward silence because I was already silent anyway because I was flabbergasted at the point that you had jumped in a conversation and compared your dog to a child. So with the awkward silence going on for a minute, she finally walks away. So nurse one said, did she just compare her dog to my kid? Yep. She said, I gotta get out of here. I said, girl, I don't even think you the target. I think I am, but we gonna let this play out. So, the next incident was, okay, so yeah, at this time, like around this time, she's starting to come up to the, like, after the day is over, the next morning, she's starting to come up to my desk saying, hey, this patient called. It's always after I'm gone, and said, like, hey, We had a problem with Angel. Like, Angel had this attitude. What patient? Oh, don't worry about it. Like, I handled it. So another patient called and they requested their medical records, right? So when they request their medical records, like, we are obligated, once they fill out a form per HIPAA, once you fill out your auth, like, we're required to give you your medical records. Per office, you're required to give a patient one free medical record. After that, it's up to your discretion if you want to charge. But we're required by law to give you a copy of your medical records every year. One free copy, just like your credit report. You can get one free copy every year to check on your credit. You can get your medical records. So this lady requested her medical records. And so when she requested her medical records, she had an issue once she got them. So she called and she was asking all these questions. And she was like, oh, well, who diagnosed me? He misdiagnosed me. She was having all these issues. And so she was like, I don't know when the lady called, but she was like, oh, no, your ladies are not supposed to give out a diagnosis. You're not nurses. Yes, we know that. Yes, but they call y'all nurses. Yes, we know that. But most patients don't even know the difference between CNA, MA, LPN, RN, BAN, like ASN. They have a lot of them don't know that. So it's rude for us, especially most of these people are elderly. We not about to sit here and be like, no, I'm an MA. Like, we know exactly what you're talking about, man. Most of the time when they were calling, they would say, hey, can I talk to head doctor's nurse, when they wanted to talk to a specific person. Because it was called the nurse line. But yeah, so you girls do not give out diagnosis. So you called like head doctor and you called, no, just head doctor. You didn't call assistant doctor, because assistant doctor was upset because he was like, who would give a diagnosis? I didn't misdiagnose anybody. So she was like, Angel, you cannot give out diagnosis. We could get sued for that. And she was going on and on and on and on and on and on. And so I'm pretty good with remembering numbers, certain situations, instances. Like, I'm just good at it right now. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. I'm healthy. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, so I went, pulled the patient's chart and pulled it out in front of the head doctor. I said, the patient called and requested her medical records. She read her medical records, and now she feels like she's misdiagnosed because she either went on the internet or went to another doctor. Unsure, don't remember verbatim what she was saying. I said, but she is by law required to get her medical records. He started laughing. So he said, so none of y'all gave her advice? And I was like, no. We gave her the advice what was written in the chart when she asked. I said, but when she requests her medical records, we can't tell her no. He said, exactly. So she was like, said it out loud, face red. So assistant doctor was like, so wait a minute. All you did was give her medical records. I was like, yeah, all I did was mail her medical records because she requested them. She sent in the form. Actually, she emailed the form because we had an email. She emailed the form. We mailed her medical records. This is something she came up with all by herself. This don't have nothing to do with us. Made her mad because I made you look stupid. So now, steadily, repeatedly, you're still, oh, these patients are complaining. These patients are complaining. And they're never calling to complain while I'm at work. They're always calling to complain when I'm not at work. Well, lo and behold, I was going on a trip. I put in for a couple of days to be off, and so did not. Ooh, I missed the part. Let me back up. So we were frustrated, right before the Christmas party, right after when we was doing all of that work, we felt disrespected. We did. And lo and behold, Nurse 1 daughter got sick. She was sick. So Nurse 1 was out. Then she was out the next day. Yeah, she had been out for like 2 days. So the third day she had called. She was like, yeah, girl, I'm going to be out again because my daughter is really sick. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So the next day, I decided not to come in that morning. I was like, my son is sick, which he was. When I tell you it was complete chaos, complete chaos, complete chaos. When we got back the next morning, Billing One was like, oh, y'all did that. Y'all did that. Y'all did that. So Nurse One was like, girl, was your son really sick? I said, yeah, he was. He was. He really was sick. He wasn't as sick as your daughter, but he really was sick. And it was just crazy how the time kind of lined up. So you was mad at that. You was mad at I made you embarrassed. Mad about the dude from imaging. Like, you was mad at a lot of stuff. So you kept saying, like, these patients were complaining. And I was like, who are the patients? I was like, what patient? What time? What time did they call? You could never come up with the time. But lo and behold, head doctor was believing in it, going along with it. Because you called me in your office and was like, hey, what's going on? We need to have a discussion because all these patients are calling and complaining about you. And I was like, I'm confused with patients. I said, because this seems a little familiar to me. So with patients, I just want to make sure like everything is okay. Whoa, everything is okay, but who are you? Wait a minute. What just happened? Wait a minute. What just happened? So after the meeting, he was like, okay, you're telling me everything. Like, I can't help you or I can't save you if you don't tell me what's going on. I said, at this point, I have no idea what you're talking about because I don't know what's going on. I said, anytime that she comes to me and tell me like, oh, these patients are complaining, she can never tell me what patient it is. She can't. I said, and it's all the patients are always calling when I'm going home. That doesn't make sense. Because if these patients are complaining, why are they not saying, hey, can I talk to your manager why I'm here? It's not adding up. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Yeah. But I mean, like if you don't tell me what's going on, I can't help you. So at this point, I've realized, oh, you're our team strategic. Because I done made her look crazy a couple of times and like you're not on my side no more. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So go back to where I put in for a couple of days because I want to go on a trip. Me and Busy Bee, we want to go on a trip. We want to go on a trip, so we're planning because Nurse One had came back from her vacation and she was telling me about this specific spot that she went to, and I was like, oh, I want to go, and so I sent pictures to Busy Bee, and I was like, Busy Bee girl, what you think? She was like, yes, let's go. Let me put in the time because, baby, I got plenty time to spare. Let's go. She was like, bet. So, put in my time, not hearing nothing. Nurse One had been on her vacation, had came back and put in for another day because her baby was having like a ceremony at school. She got an answer back. I'm not getting an answer back. I was like, and it started to come up close to the time where it's like I'm going to take my trip. And I'm like, I need to know because like I need to make plans. Like, did somebody else take this day? And so that's what I asked. I was like, hey, did you get my request? Yeah, I got it. Did somebody else have that same day? Oh, no, I'm going to get to it. So lo and behold, during lunchtime, she would leave almost every day during lunchtime. During this time, she was doing interviews on the other side. Where remember I told you like there's a whole different side where the doctor would go, like head doctor would go to help with sleep studies. Well, they had like a whole little like conference room, whole little different style. So that's where you were doing the interviews. So I wouldn't know. So the whole time you're plotting to replace me. You had told them, oh, I don't know if she's doing her work in the morning. Like nobody's here to watch her. The patients are constantly complaining and Dr. Mrs. is leaving. So it's better just to cut our losses. So that's what you told them. Of course, it always comes back to me afterwards. Anyway, so you're not responding. So I would say maybe a week after you finally, yeah, because you walked in and we were getting ready to start the other half of the day. And so when you walked in, you told her doctor, you was like, yep, I found somebody, we're good to go. And he kind of sighed. So you walked in, you like the next day, around lunchtime, he was like, hey fool, can you come into the office? So we went into assistant doctor's office. So she was sitting, when you walk into assistant doctor's office, so it was like when you walked in, this was his exam room. It was like his exam room when you walked into this office. And then when you cut to the left, that was like his desk in his main office. So we walked into his main office, and then when you walked in, like there's it was a chair, his desk, and then there was another chair like right here once you walk in through the door. And so she's sitting right here in this chair. Head doctor is sitting in this chair, and he's sitting at his desk. And the assistant doctor never looks at me. He's like this. Now, mind you, his computer is this way, but you're not typing nothing. You're just staring at the computer. So I was like, what's up? And so he was like, well, due to Dr. Mrs. leaving, we just can't afford both of you girls. We're going to bring somebody in part-time. So we're going to have to we're going to have to let you go. Bro, what the fuck? Once he said we're going to have to let you go, assistant doctor looks over at me and drops his head. So we're going to pay you, like you're going to get paid for the rest of this week. So you're going to get your full check on payday, and then I'm going to pay you for the rest of the month. Looking at the paper, looking at my separation notice, you're only paying me to the end of the pay period. She didn't put until the end of the month. You put to the end of the pay period. I am the breadwinner of my family. You put to the end of the pay period. Now, what you did put on the reason as far as separation was lack of work. Bitch, you a lie. Their schedules, actually, their patient load increased because a lot of the patients who wouldn't travel with Mrs. decided on either doctor. So your patient load increased. So I said, okay. I appreciate. Got my paper. Was walking out the office. Assistant doctor said, Angel. I turned around to look, and he said, never mind. Yeah, you know this some bullshit, but you not gonna say nothing? All well and good. Matter of fact, before this even played out, I told Nurse 1, I said, something ain't right. And they probably getting ready to let me go. As I told you, I think I was the target. I said, but whatever God will, whatever happened will happen. I'm the breadwinner of my family. So I left. Walked out. Walked out, and I was like, oh, wait. I was like, I got to come back up. Because she was like, we need your key to the building. And I was like, here's my key, but I got to come back up anyway because my card to get into the gate. Oh. Okay. Oh, you forgot about the card? So I went to my car, got my card where I didn't have to pay for parking because you had to pay for parking every day. So I had to get my car so I wouldn't have to pay for parking so I could just park, like come in the gate and I could park. So went and got my card, came back up, and so they had the other office that he worked with validate my ticket so I could just get out. Because you need a ticket to get out. So they validated my ticket to get out. Gave the card. And so she was like, Angel, girl, shut up. And that's literally what I said and walked out. Because I know this is all you. This is all you. So left. I'm on the way home. I'm stunned. I'm shocked. And it's like, girl, what the? Because I have rent. I have a car payment. I have all of this stuff that I need to take care of. But at this point, it's like, okay, chick, don't worry about it. Now you have experience. You have experience at this practice, and this is a specialty practice. So let's look in these things. Lo and behold, I get an interview. You know, the practice that I get an interview at, you know, head doctor. So the manager that I interviewed with, she absolutely loved me, was excited, because everybody that she interviewed did not have experience, and I did. And she was like, ooh, that means I don't have to teach you a lot. Oh my God, oh, I'm excited. Another lady in the office, she was excited. They did, because I had experience. You don't have to teach me. So it was like cool. So even when I left, like, nurse one was texting me, billing was texting me. Billing was like, hey, I'm gonna try to answer the phone as much as possible. Put me down as your reference. Don't put her name. Put me down as a reference to make sure, like, you get what you need to get. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. So I didn't put her name down. I put billing down as my acting manager, which she was. She was my reference at one point in time. She was the acting manager. It wasn't a lie. So when interview went great, she was like, "Ooh, yes." She was like, "I just got to let the doctor know, like, you're my decision. Yes, let him know, and I should be calling you." Why don't people never call me? She said, "Girl, the one time I left away from the phone, that's when," she was like, no. She was like, the doctor called head doctor. Head doctor told him that you were horrible with the patients, that the patients, all they did was complain about you. I said, excuse me? She said, girl, I promise you. I promise you. She said, at this point, remember I told y'all about his friend? His friend had came in and said he didn't like how they did me. He said, and rumor mill was that, according to rumor mill street committee, that they were sleeping together. I said, oh. Because I can recall, like, y'all, when I left, I can't tell y'all how low I felt when I'm walking out and I'm sitting in my car. Like, I sat in my car for a minute because I end up calling, like, my little yeah, and telling him, like, look, I just got let go today. Like, I'm frantic because this was not be the first time that I got let go, and we were, like, kicking it, like, cool. And, like, I could talk to you. And I can remember, like, he was like, I don't believe you. And I end up showing him, like, I was trying to show him, like, hey, this is what it is. Like, they let me go. And so you saw the amount that they was leaving me, that they was giving you with, and you laughed. I thought you said they liked you. That's all they gave you? You laughed. And I hung up. Bruh, you know, because of the situations that I have been in, you know I'm the breadwinner for my family. Why would you tell that doctor that BS? I've been working for you before she was. So Billy was like, girl, because she had called me. She was like, yeah. Excuse me. She was like, they had called me. I gave you a good reference. They had called nurse one because she was a reference. She was like, but he came and he was like, oh yeah, he was like, so yeah, she was, that doctor called me, and I told him the truth. And so she was like, when he said that, she was like, really? And said he wouldn't even look her in the eye. It was like, she was like, girl, I don't even know who this is. She was like, so that was, she was like, I know I stayed because you asked me to stay. She's like, I'm out of here. She put in her 2 weeks notice. She was like, that was the nail in the coffin for me. She put in her 2 weeks notice, moved to another state. Nurse one was still there. Nurse one was there, and she's talking to the lady who replaced me, who was working full time. Who's working full time. So she's working full time. So she was like, so why the girl who I replaced, why she didn't want to do her job? So nurse one said, excuse me? She said, yeah. She was like, she was telling me, like, in the interview, like, how she doesn't do her job, how she's late, how she's nasty to the patient. She said, she lied to you. She was like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. She's like, that's not true. Nurse 1 ended up leaving too. After she found that out, she was like, I got to get up out of here. She left too. Billing had said while we were on the phone, she was like, girl, she did ask, you think Nurse 1 is going to leave now that Angel's gone? And she was like, oh, most definitely. Because she only came back because Angel was here. And the other manager that we all had problems with was gone. So when Billing had completely left, like, and moved to the other state, she calling me, was giving me the tea and giving me the rundown. She was like, girl, that lady is psycho. She is real envious of her family members. Like, something is wrong with her. She was like in rumor mill. Like, his friend had come in and say, like, they sleeping together. Like, that was the talk of their little community, that they sleeping together, which was how she ended up getting a job. Bro, you're married. What were we doing? What are you doing, sir? I was like, interesting. I said, so, and he was like, and Angel was the target because you got along with Angel, and Angel, you know, it would seem like whatever Angel said go, which wasn't the truth, but I mean, hey, whatever. So, Billing is gone, moved to another state. Nurse 1 left, and when Nurse 1 left, she kept asking. She was like, girl, you found a job, and I had finally found a job after losing my car, after losing my apartment. No, after losing my apartment. I had to move out of my apartment because my unemployment didn't kick in, and my unemployment didn't kick in time. Yeah, my unemployment didn't kick in time. Because I was going to cancel my trip, but Busy Bee was like, girl, I got you, just pay me back. Because she was like, we need a break. So I did still go on my trip. I did. Still went on my trip. Ended up losing my apartment. Moved out, moved in with Gamer and his wife and his kids. Me and Ty. I was still taking Ty to school because at this time I still had my car. My car hadn't been repoed yet. So when I finally found a job, well, I had found one before, but that was the one where they was trying to send me to a whole different location without training. That was a no. And so it was like, oh, I found something else, which I did. Well, lo and behold, I found a gig. And when I found it, Nurse 1 was like, girl, I found something. We end up still working at the same place. It was so crazy. And like the manager didn't tell me. So we end up working at the same place. It was like I started like a week before she started. We end up working at the same place. But that was cut short because right after I got hired, my car got repossessed. Yeah. So they had to let me go. And the manager she was trying to hold out. She was like, you a good worker. You came in. Like you caught on quick. And I was like, girl, I don't have a car. I don't have no money. I don't have nothing. So anyway, strategic. Her whole plan was to come in and to get experience and go somewhere else. She had no intentions of staying at the practice. And as stated, when she walked through the door, as I told Billy, she's going to tear this office apart. And she did. She got rid of me. Billing left. Rumor mill, don't know if it's true or not. Allegedly, you and the head doctor was sleeping together. You didn't even come off as that type of guy. And Nurse 1 left. Tore us completely apart. You came in. You wanted to gain experience. You got your experience. I would say 9 months. Maybe you were there for 9 months total. Maybe 6 months after I left, you quit. You gave them a week notice and went and got another job and said, oh, I was only here for the experience. Lo and behold, like, I was very, 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 very upset. I was very upset, like, very upset at those people. And I felt like at any given point, it's like, girl, you're going to have to face these demons. And so I had a doctor's appointment. Like, my doctor, one of my doctors is in the same building because it was just easier for me to go to my doctor on my lunch break and then come back to work. So I had a doctor's appointment, went to my doctor's appointment, and then I went because my doctor is in the separate building. So I left out of my doctor's appointment. I was like, I wonder. Went to your office, and I was like, so the lady who replaced me was still there. But of course, I don't know who the hell whoever that was replacing Nurse One. I think that person was like either the third or fourth person to replace Nurse One. But I ain't know her. But the girl who replaced me, like, you knew of me. So when I walked in, I was like, is there a doctor here? She was like, oh, he's with a patient. I was like, oh, I don't mind waiting. So I waited. So you walked out the door, like, you didn't come around. You was like the girl, like, somebody's here to see you. And he didn't come where you can look through the glass. Like, you kind of, like, stayed back. And when he did that, he was having a bad day. I know. But anyway, so he walked out. When he was like, fool, like, you were so excited to see me. You was so excited. And I was like, hi. And he was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, coming to face some demons. He was like, where are you working now? Where are you? And I was like, oh, at this time I had found a job. And I was like, oh, I'm in OB. I'm in obstetrics. I'm in OB. He's like, oh, you like it? I love it. I love the schedule because it was Monday through Thursday. I love it. And he was like, oh. And I was like, how are things going here? It's going. I was like, that's good. The assistant doctor, his door was closed, so I didn't wait around to see him. I wish I did. I might need to take a trip. Just to see how that would go. But that will conclude this series of the Carousel of Horrible Bosses. Baby, people are weird. You came in, destroyed those people's offices because you felt the way you was insecure and you was only coming to get experience, and you quit on them. You got to be careful how you treat people. I love you the most because you're definitely the dopest in real life. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.